One of the things that I think that would probably be
Harry asked her dad, first time when I heard take Harry from him, he goes, I never know what.
My little speech, I'm going to give you all a little sad news. We're still doing half tours today. There's still about 3 feet of water in our water polo. So what we're doing is turning you back around and bringing you back up the exact same 300 feet. If you're still interested in the little journey, I'll tell you all about it. We're currently up here in our hospitality house here in a few minutes when I'm done yelling at you. I'm running you out that door right there. You're going to go down a set of stairs. Those stairs don't count towards the 300 stairs down or up. Them's the practice stairs. You're going to start down our sinkhole, stopping on top of this tower, overlooking 200 feet down to our cathedral room. You're going to continue your journey onward and downward, stopping occasionally to hear interesting stories about the cave and the people that were in the cave. You're going to work your way all the way down to our shrew room, 300 feet down. Hear a good story, turn right around, and come right back up the same 300 stairs. Now, along your journey inside the cave, you'll encounter some little yellow plastic boxes like that. Your guy's actually going to take one in and set it down in a particular spot. Please don't pick it up and hand it to him and say, hey, you forgot the suitcase. He put it there for a reason. It's called an AED, automatic external defibrillator. You don't know what an AED is for? Don't lay on the floor. That'll be a shocking experience for you. Your guide is training first aid and CPR in the event of an emergency inside of our cave. All of our guides are trained to run away. Make a phone call to us up here at the desk, come back and help you out however they can. Now, along your journey, you guys are about to embark on an incredible journey, but it's going to be a very strenuous journey. I need you both physically and mentally prepared for what you're about to step into. A cave. If you have weak ankles, weak knees, have a bad back, have problems bending at the waist repeatedly, have problems with your heart, with your lungs, with your vision in low-light situations, had any recent surgeries, recent major illnesses, or you think you might be pregnant, the tour is not recommended for you. Now, some things to keep in mind before you walk out that door right there. Like I said, the very first thing y'all are going to do is stand on top of that tower overlooking 200 feet. If you're afraid of heights, you're not going to want to be right there. Getting ready to go down to a big old cave. Caves are dark. If you're afraid of the dark, don't go in the cave. It's going to be pitch black down there for a couple of minutes. If you're claustrophobic, afraid of bats, afraid of losing cell service for an hour, first off with you. I didn't mention bats. We got a whole lot of bats down our big old cave, but they're all in good health, and we'd like to keep it that way. There's a scourge going around our country today, killed millions and millions of bats. It's called the white nose syndrome. It's a fungus that grows on a bat's nose. It itches them so bad they can't go to sleep. They die from exhaustion. Not a good way to go. So I need your help today. If you've been down in a cave in the past 12 months, it's had that white nose syndrome, and you're wearing anything today that you wore down in that cave, I'm asking you not to go in our cave today. The spores from that fungus live on in the fabric of that material for up to 12 months, even after repeated washes. Now we got other little critters down there. We want to keep them happy and healthy as well. That little blue and black sign right over there to help protect them. No food or drink. Now there's an exception to the rule. You have a hard-sided travel mug like a Silver Dollar City cup or a water bottle that has a lid on it. Keep the lid on it. You may take it with you. Don't open it up in the cave. Food items, pork, rice, popcorn, that kind of nonsense, wrap them up, tie them up in a sealed container. You may take those along as well. Just don't consume them in the cave. Your mouths do not serve as a sealed container. If you have gum, mints, candy, tobacco straws, toothpicks, anything other than a pair of dentures or a song on your lips, drop it in that trash can on the way out the door. Now there's one thing that we don't have down that big old cave, and that's a bathroom. For the next hour, you will be surrounded by the serene sound of dripping water, running water, flowing water, gushing water. None of it is flushing water. You gotta go to the bathroom, don't go in the cave. So the other side of the hospitality house, take care of business, come back at a later time. Give me a whole a lot more comfortable. Now, with all that information I just spewed forth out of my pie hole, you guys are probably going to be pretty upset to find out I'm not even your guide. I don't even work here. I get back door, I dress like this, pick up chicks. And work, but I can't. Got one of our best guides on staff called the Master of Marble Cave. He's got a 72% return rate. Not really all that good, so if you stay closer together, you'll have a better chance of getting out of that cave and get his numbers back up where they should be. Everybody turn around and say, hi, Bill.
You guys are y'all excited? Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm really excited. This first tour I've got to lead in the cave since the accident. So if y'all are still excited, follow me out this door. You still have to come back up. You don't like that. None of us guys like that. Full tours aren't too bad. Full tours, you go down 500 feet deep, down about 500 stairs, and then you climb up about 150 stairs. You ride the train up to the train. On the half tours, you go down 330 feet, 330 stair steps, and climb back up 330 stair steps to get out. That's only because it's warm outside today. Come back next week, it'll be warmer in the cave than it is outside. Alright guys, come on in and welcome to Marble Cave. And when you get down here, you want to take a walk along the handrail and look over the side. The lights all the way over at the other side of the room is where we're going after we're done up here. After you get a good look at that, wait, let everybody else get a look. We're going all the way to the other side where the lights are when we're done here. All right, guys, I'll make sure to let maintenance know they haven't fixed all the bathroom leaks yet. On a brighter note, y'all want to congratulate yourselves and pat yourselves on the back because you have just completed your first 94 stair steps out of the 660 we're going to do. Pretty cool, huh? Now, you know, we're pretty fond of telling people the things we could fit in this room. For instance, you could fit a 20-story tall building a city block long in here. Or you could fit the Statue of Liberty. If you put her base over at the far side of the room where the lights are and put her on an angle, her torch would be somewhere about here. What we really did put in this room is more impressive than what we could put in this room. You see, Marble Cave is one of the longest commercially operating caves in the United States. They've been doing cave tours through here since 1894. 125 years. I look pretty good, huh? In 1994, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of cave tours here in Marble Cave, they set a Guinness Book of World Records by flying 5 hot air balloons in here all at the same time. Well, we got pictures to prove it. We also hold the very first world record for underground balloon flight. We did that in here back in 1963. And I got the black and white photo to show you that one as well. The guys, between 1963 and 1994, they flew hot air balloons down here multiple times. But the one time they flew a balloon down here that impressed me the most was one they did in 1988. Yep. In 1988, they flew one hot air balloon down here with a lady by the name of Becky sitting on top of it. And as far as we know, she is the only woman that has ever touched the ceiling in the cathedral room here. Now, I understand Becky had a hard hat on in the interest of safety. She was not tied to the balloon, but she had a hard hat on in the interest of safety. Even though she's got bragging rights for being the only woman to do it, I still call her a balloonatic. Now guys, we're going to go all the way to the far side of the room there where those lights are. When we get down there, our photographers are set up to take your individual group photos. You're not obligated to take the photo, but you are obligated to go through their line because they need to know how many people are in each group and how many groups there are. I always recommend, even if you're not interested in purchasing that photo when we get back up top, you go ahead and let them take it. That way, if I lose you here in the cave, they know who they're looking for when they come back. Because they probably won't let me come back. I do need to remind you, getting down there is going to be dark, damp, wet, and dimly lit, so please use the handrails. Also, for those of you that are a little taller, you're going to notice that's your first, but certainly not your last opportunity to duck. If you don't, those steel beams are going to leave a nasty looking mark on your forehead, and they're going to give you a pretty serious headache along with it. And if your head's hard enough to take them out, don't, because we need our stairs. Now, I'm also obligated by park administration to inform you this is your last opportunity to turn back. If you made it in this far, had to look over the side and said, yeah, it's marvelous, but I don't want to go down all the rest of those stairs and come back up them, that's fine. What you do is go back up the stairs we already came down, through that door, up the stairs out there, back into the building the way you came out. I promise you, nobody will say a word until the door closes behind you. So, anybody wants to go back, you are free to go. Other than that, everybody ready to go down? Sure. All right, onward and downward we go. Get out from under that bathroom leak.
Oh, well, I can't stop it.
Right here, guys, you can see through the hole in the ground. When you came in this park, walked past the bakery, if you looked over the hill to your right-hand side, that's where that hole in the ground is. No pictures. So what if I lose you?
You will?
Yeah, you will be lost. Then after when he did that, actually, 25 feet deep beyond the bend that you see in it there, to a dead end. And it is completely bare. Guys, I do want to direct your attention back up there to where you came in. What's important up there, ain't that tower you came in on, or those walkways you walk down here on. What's important up there is that hole in the ground. You see the daylight coming through. You see, out of over 32 miles of explored passageway here inside of Marble Cave, that's the only known natural opening to exist. So in the wintertime, or in the summertime when our bats are not hibernating, that's the only way for them to get out for their meal in the evening. You want to talk about a traffic jam. This room can get real busy after dark in the summer. Now guys, I know y'all came here for the holiday season at Silver Dollar City, right?
Yeah.
Y'all are going to stick around and see that big 80-foot Christmas tree light up this evening?
Yeah.
And see those 6.5 million plus Christmas lights they put up out there?
Yep.
But you know what? We're not to be outdone. You see, Marble Cave is really what started everything, so we've actually installed the largest tree under the park. Pay no mind to him. He's just a Liberty Bell, because it's kind of shaped like a bell, and it does have a big crack in it. And believe it or not, this thing used to be a stalactite that hung directly from the ceiling above. But a little over 100 years ago, it got to be so big and heavy, it broke loose and fell to the cave floor, where it now stands and continues to grow as a stalagmite. The formations here inside of Marble Cave grow at the rate of about 1 cubic inch every 25 to 75 years. So in a few thousand years, this thing may once again touch the ceiling. Tall, narrow formation over on this side is the one we call the Sentinel, because it stands guard over our pass. It is a stalactite that's grown into a stalagmite to meet in the middle to form a column. And if you all look very closely around this room, you'll see no other column supporting the ceiling in here. So that must be the only thing holding it all up. And it's got a big crack in the top. That's why we don't spend a lot of time in here. Guys, we're going to move down to the second room in our cave, a room we call the shoe room. When we get down there, I'm going to tell you about the first documented exploration of the cave, what those people came here looking for, what they thought they found, and what they really did find. Now, to get to that room, we have to go through the serpentine passageway around behind the Liberty Bell here, and there's a couple of things y'all need to know about that passage. First thing you need to know about is head clearance. Yep, if you're 5'6" or taller, you're going to have to duck. Second thing you need to know about is bats. Why, yes, it's true that there's over 80,000 bats here inside of Marble Cave. It's also true that they've started to go into hibernation, and they do that in a much deeper part of the cave. You'd have to go through the mammoth room back there, through a whole bunch of passage, and crawl through mud, muck, and back guano for about 3 hours to get to where they like to hang out. So it's not likely we're going to encounter any. However, we've noticed there are still a few stragglers that haven't made it back there to hibernate yet, and they're still flying around out here. So if you have an up-close encounter with a bat, this passageway is the most likely place that will occur. Now guys, we ask that you please remember that our bats are an endangered species, so if you discover one flying directly toward you, we ask that you please do not swat at it. The best way to deal with a bat that's flying right at you is to duck and let the guy behind you worry about it. So as y'all follow me down this passageway, if you see me duck, you know what's coming.
Pretty smooth.
Hey guys, you look over here on the left-hand side, you'll see a hole on the left-hand side. Dave's shining his flashlight around down here, kind of checking out the water level. That room is 56 feet tall. Wednesday morning, that room was filled to the ceiling with water. It says it's only about 5 feet deep right now. Hopefully, we'll be doing full curves. And we open back up next week. When you get real lucky and they open the floodgates up on the table rock down. Right there are the toes, the arch, heels back there, right back around the toes. It's like a size 800 flip-flop. And yes, they stepped in gum. That's why we don't allow it in here anymore. All right, guys, I do like to tell the story of the first documented exploration by candlelight because that's how they explored it. I think you should experience the ring as closely as possible, the same way they did. If you have somebody with you, big or small, afraid of the dark, you want to hang on to them and keep them nearby, because I'm going to turn those lights up. In 3, 2, 1. Now, our cave was first documented to have been explored in 1869 by Henry T. Blow. Mr. Blow was a lead miner and speculator, as well as a former United States Senator from St. Louis. Him and his friends heard about all the caves here in the Ozarks, and they figured there was lead to be found in these hills. Well, they came down to explore because they figured it would be pretty easy pickings to find lead in a hole that was already there instead of having to dig one. Makes sense, right? Well, they got to this part of the Ozarks and they heard some stories about this cave from the Native Americans. You see, they called this the Devil's Den. They believed it was full of evil spirits and that the devil himself lived here. They successfully warded everybody off from ever coming into it for several hundred years. Mr. Blow and his friends, they weren't superstitious. They came in anyway. They spent most of the day back there in the cathedral room we started in, looking for lead deposits, and all they found was limestone. Now, Henry's friends were tired and hungry and ready to go back up top, and that's when he did something that no one should ever do. He lit a candle and came deeper in the cave by himself. Came through that winding pass, not quite as easily as we did, stepped into this area where it opened up, and looked up and saw that smooth veined ceiling. He looked around and saw what appeared to him to be marble walls. We know that he noted in his journal he believed he found marble in this very room. But he wasn't looking for marble, he was looking for lead. He needed to find it. He needed to go deeper. So he started through this passageway over here, but he couldn't get very far because it was filled almost to the ceiling with a black gooey substance. So he cautiously made his way over this way until he found this drop-off. Now, he couldn't see the bottom of that in his candlelight, but he knew that if he tossed a rock over, counted the number of seconds it took for it to hit, he could calculate how much rope he needed and climb down. So that's what he did. Picked up a rock, tossed it over, and began to count. But he never heard that rock drop. He thought, well, maybe it hung up on a ledge or something, so he figured he'd try it again. He searched around for another rock and found one, and just as he was about to toss it over, he noticed there was a lot of heat rising here. That's when all those stories the natives told him about this being where the devil lived came back to his memory. Henry was certain at that point in time if he went down there, he was going someplace no one wants to go. Like the Department of Motor Vehicles. So he left the cave. When he got back up top, him and his friends drew a map of the areas they explored, made some notes. On that map, they labeled that bottomless pit as the Gulf of Doom. And yep, we still call it that today. Now, since Henry didn't find any lead in this cave, he wasn't much interested in it, but he did keep that journal with him through the rest of his travels in the Ozarks, all the way back to St. Louis. When he got there, he laid it on a shelf in his office and forgot about it for about 15 years. About that time, somebody was helping him clean his office out, and they were going through things. They came across that journal, and they read through it, and they got excited because they read he'd discovered marble down here. They knew that marble was worth a little bit of money. So they took the journal to Henry to talk to him about it. He told them, yeah, I believe I found marble down there. I'm still not interested in it, though, so you guys are welcome to take that and do with it whatever you would like. And they did. They got a bunch of their friends together and they formed a company called the Marble Cave Mining Company. That company then purchased the cave and surrounding acre. They bought mining equipment. They even hired workers who began building a town up top that was platted here in Stone County as Marmaros, which is Greek for marble. And then they hired 2 geologists to come down and tell them how much marble they had to mine out of here. They probably should have hired those 2 guys first. They came all the way down here, climbed up and checked out the smooth veined ceiling and the marble walls and kind of chuckled to themselves. And then they checked out the room full of black gooey stuff in the bottomless pit. And they went back at the top and they said, guys, you ain't got no marble down there. All you got's limestone and a whole lot of bat guano. That's a fancy way of saying bat poop. They had a whole room full of it. Not only that, the reason Henry never heard his rock drop down there was because down there was a 20 to 30 foot deep pile of bat guano. So you want to think about that when you're doing a filter, when you're walking through those areas. Now, you guys know what bat guano is used for? Fertilizer, gunpowder, mascara, makeup. Yeah. Ladies, I don't know how y'all feel about wearing explosives on your face, but I'll alleviate your concerns. It is not, nor has it ever been used in makeup or mascara of any kind. It was actually a bad joke created by a tour guide in the 1970s. He said that they put bat guano on mascara so that you ladies could bat your eyes. And believe it or not, they've traced the origins of that particular joke, and they traced it all the way back here to Marble Cave. So it originated here. Well, guys, you will be happy to hear the Marble Cave Mining Company was able to begin their mining operation right away. It's pretty obvious, otherwise we'd be swimming in it. Yeah, you see, gunpowder, when dried properly, is very high in nitrates. It makes good fertilizer, but it also makes a primary ingredient to create saltpeter, which is an ingredient in black powdered gunpowder. And those folks just happened to find a gunpowder factory down in Berryville, Arkansas that was willing to buy all the bat guano they could supply. And let me tell you, they could supply quite a bit. There was so much bat guano here inside of Marble Cave that they were able to mine it for 4.5 years. And then the bats were all pooped out. But I will tell you, they got stinking rich off that crap. The amount of guano they mined out of here, adjusted for inflation to today's dollars, came to slightly over 5.2 million. So they got stinking rich. Now, by 1889, they managed to mine all the bat guano they could easily get out of here. So they sold the cave to a crazy Canadian by the name of William Henry Lynch. He was a widower raising 2 daughters, and they bought it to just give cave tours in. And they didn't move here till spring of 1894, but they did give that first inaugural cave tour on October 18th, 1894. Mr. Lynch passed away in 1927. He willed ownership of the cave to the 2 girls, and they kept giving cave tours in here until they were in their 70s. And in 1948, there was a family from Chicago vacationing here by the last name of Hershon. Hugo and Mary Hershon and their 2 teenage boys, Jack and Pete. Hugo was a vacuum salesman in Chicago, and he was tired of doing that. So he discussed with his family the idea he had of taking over the operation of the cave for those 2 elderly ladies, making improvements, and turning it into a bigger draw. And his family agreed. So in 1949, the Hershon family entered into a 99-year lease agreement for the operation of Marble Cave with the Lynch sisters and began making improvements right away. They started with all this concrete that we walk on yet to this day. It took them 10 years to put all this concrete in, one 80-pound dry mix bag at a time. In 1958, they blasted a tunnel in connecting to the last room on the other end of our cave to put a train in so that you could walk through and ride out. And that train is directly responsible for all that stuff you're here to see up on the surface today. You see, prior to putting that train in, there had been 5,000 people here to visit Marble Cave at Marble Cave Park. But the year after they put that train in, they had 50,000 people come and visit the cave at Marble Cave Park. So the Hershon family decided they needed to do something to entertain people while they were waiting for a cave tour. So in the fall and winter of 1959, they went out there and built the blacksmith shop, the ice cream parlor, and the general store. And in 1960, they opened those 3 buildings up and called it Silver Dollar City. And then it all got out of hand. Well, guys, it's about time for us to head back, but before we do that, I do want to show you all how dark it can be in a cave. So once again, if you have somebody with you, big or small, afraid it's dark, you want to hang on to them, keep them nearby. I'm going to blow that candle out. in 3, 2, 1. Pretty cool, huh? You man, if you cover that up for a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to ruin my joke. No, completely off.